So the real question is, how can we, as entrepreneurs, health experts, and personal development gurus who want balance in our lives and aren't content to sit on the sidelines, limiting our full potential in body, connection, power, and wealth, help you live your full potential in life? That's exactly what we are talking about today. I'm Dr. Amelia.
And I'm Dr. Jeremy. Welcome to Transforming Self.
Hello, everybody. I am Dr. Amelia. Dr. Jeremy could not join us today, so I get the pleasure of interviewing Dr. Charlie all by myself. So Dr. Charlie is a chiropractor, massage therapist, and movement specialist. She has a passion for educating people on small, actionable self-care hacks to change the trajectory, that's a hard word, of not only a person's health, but their entire life. Thank you so much for being with me today, Dr. Charlie. So why don't you expand on your bio a little bit? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I've been doing massage since 2002, 17 years now, and went back to school. I was an instructor, administrator in massage school for a while. I loved that, but I wanted more. And I went back to school, finished my bachelor's, got my doctorate in chiropractic, and have been now practicing. I own River City Chiropractic for the last 5 years. Recently, during COVID, I started a Facebook group called Holistic Self-Care Club with the idea of possibly even starting my own podcast at some point, partly because felt like I kept repeating myself over and over again with certain things that I thought was common knowledge about general health and things that can really make a big impact on people's lives. And so I started this Facebook group, and every week I go in and I create a few different challenges to make people aware of things that maybe they are already doing, but having the knowledge of how that's beneficial to them, their life and their health and whatnot, can even improve their feelings about taking those action steps. So I've been really excited I only have a couple hundred people in the group, and anywhere from 25 to 75 challenges are completed each week from the members that comment. I have a lot of patients that come in and say, "Oh yeah, I did this and I did that." And I'm thinking, "Oh, but you never said anything in group." But I'm glad that they're taking some of that knowledge and applying it. And so I've done that with my own life. I've been able, to put myself into remission with rheumatoid arthritis, with a bunch of natural healthcare type of practices. So that's kind of what I want. That's what I'm now really passionate about for, obviously seeing my patients in my office, but things that the habits that they can form outside of my office is just as important.
Tell us a little bit, because maybe somebody's listening to this who has RA. So if you had somebody come into your office and you could give them some direction or advice on what they could do to naturally put their RA into remission instead of taking, I don't even know the RA medication that people are typically on, but instead of maybe they don't want to take all the medications, what would your advice be to them, or what direction would you point them in?
So rheumatoid arthritis, for those who don't know, is an autoimmune disease. Recently, there's a lot of research and science that's coming out that is correlating autoimmune diseases with gut health. I thought that I had good gut health. I pooped every day and didn't have, a bunch of digestion problems and things. Once I learned more about gut health, I kind of saw that maybe I had symptoms that I just kind of thought, oh, well, that's normal. Everybody has some bloating or everybody has gas, and I'm a lot more prone to potentially having more soft stools than being constipated. But I just kind of thought that everybody has those, whatever. So the first thing I would say is to somebody who's interested in learning how to put whatever autoimmune disease that they have, start to decrease the symptoms, start to heal the body from the inside out, is one, talking to them and educating them that there is a chance that they can help themselves without having to be on medications that are covering up the symptoms for the rest of their lives. And actually, Dr. Jeremy is the first person that I remember giving me that hope. He may not even remember the conversation, but I was first diagnosed when I was in my first year of chiropractic school. And I had been going to him for some pain relief for joint issues, and went in and told him that I was confirmed to have rheumatoid arthritis. I don't even know what advice he gave me, but he told me like, hey, well, there's some things that we can do to stop the progression, that we can help with naturally, that you potentially can heal yourself with this, or, put yourself into remission or whatnot. And I know I told him this, and I left thinking, whatever. He just like, but I was like, my mom, her three sisters, so my three aunts on my maternal side, and my maternal grandmother all have rheumatoid arthritis. They all have been on medications forever. Like, that's not a thing. Like, you can't, that's what I thought. And I had been at that point a massage therapist for 10 or more years. No, not 10 or more. Anyways, for a long time.
For a while.
I guess like maybe 8 years or so. So I've kind of been in the, natural alternative health for a while, but didn't think that was a possibility. And then my next big awakening with that was a good friend of mine from massage school that I know. We went to massage school together in Colorado. She lives in South Dakota, and I was visiting her for a weekend. She had gone on and had completed a nutritional therapy practitioner's certification and was acting as not only a massage therapist, but a nutritional therapist. And she was the first person to give me that correlation between gut health and autoimmune diseases, and how important our gut function is to immunity and a lot of other body processes that we as a medical community in the past didn't realize. I think most people thought of gut health up until more recent times as calorie intake, nutrition intake. That kind of was pretty much it. And so now that, there's gut brain connection, gut skin connection, hormone. I mean, everything is so interconnected, more than what we even thought before. So if somebody came in with an autoimmune disease, I often will refer them to a nutritional therapy practitioner here in town, functional medicine doctor. I love Dr. Ruscio Radio, which is a podcast. I have a functional medicine gastroenterologist. I often will give them his book, or the name of his book, Healthy Gut, Healthy You. I've taken patients out to lunch. I've met with patients' family members, telling them kind of my progression. For me, there had been a handful of things that helped me instantly. And then I would maybe kind of improve a little bit and then plateau. And then I would find something else. And so there's been a bunch of things that I have found that have helped me personally, some of which may be unique to my situation. Some of them may be very general to anybody who has autoimmunity would benefit from some of the like probiotics, or CBD has really helped me tremendously healing my gut. So increasing my stomach acid, doing a ton of things to improve my gut ecosystem. I used to say microbiota, but that narrows it down to just bacteria. So our gut ecosystem, the fungus and viruses and bacteria and the unknown gut bugs that may be in our system that we're not very familiar with yet. That's where I start. And then movement, making sure that people are still moving even through pain. So many of my muscles had atrophied. I still have areas of my body where there's a ton of imbalance. And so other muscles are compensating and working harder because I was altering my gait from pain, or not moving the same way that I had previously because of pain, not bending my joints as much. So, they're becoming immobile, but those muscles to lift out of positions are not being active and aren't being activated, I guess. So movement, water intake, anti-inflammatory diet, and just mindset, just knowing that there's a possibility that it can be that we have control over our health, and having that conversation with them, and not necessarily saying, oh, you need to stop seeing your rheumatologist, but seeing if their rheumatologist can come on board with some of the things that they want to do also and see if they can start to minimize the medications that they're on.
And that's so important. I mean, a couple things, gut health, it is so amazing what is being discovered probably on a daily basis with gut health. Yeah, I mean, usually gut health, people just think, well, how's my stomach feel? Yeah, am I pooping? What it is, and that's not everything. The gut is probably one of the most important things next to your nervous system in your body, because if it's not balanced, nothing else is balanced. And I don't think people realize that our guts are made up of the whole system. It's viruses, bacteria, fungus. I mean, our bodies are made up of all of this stuff. Like all of that is inside of us. And the ones that are bad for us, our bodies typically keep in check. If we have a healthy gut, they'll keep most of the bad things in check. So as you were going through all of this transformation and getting your body healthy and all this inflammatory stuff, and even now starting a business and everything you're doing, do you have a favorite quote or affirmation or mantra you tell yourself that kind of helps you go and helps you feel better or peps you up or anything, something like that? Especially
right now in business, my biggest, I guess, mantra is courageously take messy action. I'm a researcher. I'm a thinker. I like to sit with things. I like to plan. I love planning. I love filling out calendars and having ideas. And I mean, years and years ago, we were in a work together. We had the spa and I loved creating all those the menus and, we could do this and we could do this and, whatnot. But then when it comes to doing, I put the brakes on a lot more and I overthink things and I plan to the point of it's so big. I don't even know where to start or how to start. And so this year I just take that 20 seconds of courage and hit live to go into my Facebook group. And I created a Facebook group and I invited people to it. And, I've had plans for years of something of this iteration. And now I'm moving forward with that because I'm forcing myself to not care if it's perfect and to just do something, because doing something will give me practice and I will become better at it. And so I think that would be done is better than perfect. Yes. And that's so hard. It's so hard. I like that quote, the messy action, because that's what it is sometimes. Sometimes it's messy. It's not perfect. And that's okay. And I think as individuals, we're too hard on ourselves that if it's not perfect, we just shouldn't do it. Well, we can't do it. It's not going to be perfect. And who cares? Most people don't even know that it's not perfect. They don't know what you have planned in your head. It might be perfect to them. So that's a really good one. Well, and it's beneficial. I've had feedback and things don't ever look the way that I hope that they would look or expect that they look, but we're getting information out there. So a lot of people say, take messy action. For me, had to add courageously to that because I needed that word to just empower me to do that, to have that courage to, overcome something I'm afraid of. All right. So you have a lot going on. You have a business, you have a husband. I know you guys just moved out onto some land. So having land, there's a lot to take care of, your Facebook group. How do you feel like you find balance between everything, between your body and all the things you have to do to your body? Because you might have to do a little more with your body to keep the inflammatory process of RA in check than somebody who doesn't have that has to do. And then with your business and connecting with your husband and, creating the financial life that you want. How do you find the balance in that? Well, first of all, intentionality. So intentionality is going to be the biggest thing, but I find that working on my body is maybe easier than somebody who is in another profession because it's something I'm already interested in. And so I enjoy, I posted a picture in my group of me sitting out for 10, 15 minutes, getting some sun, vitamin D, and reading part of Dr. Ruscio's book. And somebody commented because they, I guess, zoomed in to see what I was reading, and they were like, "Oh, it's funny you're reading about microbiota," and like, so it's enjoyable to me. That more than likely isn't going to be enjoyable to somebody who is in a different industry. Connection. I love people, and so that comes really easy to me. I don't have to be as intentional. COVID made me more intentional with, especially some of my family members out of state, some of my nieces and nephews. I found myself texting them more frequently. That has been actually, even without being able to be face to face, I was having tea parties with my nieces once a week, and, we were all getting on Zoom and making our tea and our snacks and talking. And most of the time it turned into some sort of dance party or something. And, an hour and a half into it, I'm like, okay, I'm going to let you guys go. You guys can continue hanging out. But the other power, wealth, those are things that I have to work on intentionally, that I have to work on my mindset and my beliefs and focus more on taking actionable steps to grow that and to not allow myself to give in to imposter syndrome. And I grew up in a family that didn't have the best wisdom on finances and things like that. And so relearning, reading books and listening to podcasts and just being intentional about those things, I have to focus on probably more than relationships and keeping my body healthy. And my routine looks very different than somebody else's body care routine. I'm excited when I can bounce up and down, and there are people in CrossFit gyms that are jumping, like over people. And I'm like, oh, look, I can bounce today and there's not pain with it. And like, I'm getting stronger with that and I can do it more and harder. And so
yep. Very good. All right. So with everything you've done, is there a best piece of advice that you've ever received from somebody?
Probably never stop learning. I don't remember who it was. Probably Deb Dino or somebody who was an instructor of ours at Cleveland. I was overwhelmed with finals and boards towards the end. And somebody said something like, "Oh, you think you're stressed out now?" Just wait. And they're like, "You think you know a lot now? Just, keep learning, keep going to seminars, just keep learning." And I thought I knew a lot about the body at that time. And I thought that I knew a lot about therapy. I mean, I've been doing massage way longer than people had been doing chiropractic with, the people I was graduating with. And my knowledge has grown leaps and bounds, being able to apply what I learned in school to patients on a daily basis. And so I think that's probably the best advice, because you can use that for everything with what's going on in today's world with Black Lives Matter, educating on what are the issues and just learning and educating and listening. And so I think that's just kind of maybe the biggest thing is just never stop learning.
It's good advice. There's always something new to learn, especially with the gut. Like you were talking about earlier, there's always something new to learn with the gut. So,
right.
All right. So what defines success to you? Because, success is different to everybody and it's not always a monetary thing, which it's fine if it is. But what defines success to you?
I think somebody living congruently with their beliefs, which if their belief system changes, then that's fine. But I think success is making a life where you can have total freedom of who you are, who you want to be. And that may mean having multiple houses or a couple of boats and like all, the things that that can bring somebody a lot of joy. To me, my goal is to have a large garden, to be able to produce food for us. Potentially, I'm working on it to be able to be off the grid with solar. I want to start learning how to fish and hunt, and so we can get more protein into our lives than the normal, seafood that we can get flown in, and beef, pork, and chicken. But there's so much more out there. So, being able to create a lifestyle that I can do those things and be around my family and be a great aunt to my 25 nieces and nephews.
Oh my God, you have that many? I didn't realize there were 25 of them.
Yeah. Between
everybody.
All of,
yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh my goodness.
I mean, there's, mixed like families that,
Yep.
I have a lot of step nieces and nephews and things, but yeah.
Okay.
Any human being, if they feel like they are living their true authentic self and striving for goals, then I think that's success.
Yep. You're kind of speaking Jeremy's language with the off the grid stuff. So he has a dream of us moving to Alaska, or at least having somewhere in Alaska to go and being off grid. I'm not sure I'm 100% on board with that.
Right.
But we'll see. We'll see. I do like running water a lot. So we'd have to figure that one out. And people. Yeah. Not a lot of people in Alaska. So we'll see what happens.
Well, I'll come visit you guys.
Perfect. Yeah. We can go fishing and hunting and all the things.
Yeah.
All right. So if you had a sentence or two to give an entrepreneur, because you're an entrepreneur, you have your own business, you've had your own, you had a massage business before you had a chiropractic business, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I thought. So I guess we didn't talk about this at the beginning, which maybe we should have. Charlie and I have known each other for a long, long, long time. Was it 2003 when I got married? So she was the photographer at my first wedding. I feel like it was 2003, 2004.
It was probably 2003 because I feel like I had not met Danny yet.
No, you had not met Danny yet. No.
So we started dating, I think, in 2003. So it may have.
Yes. So because I got married, my first wedding was in June of 2003. So that's when we would have met right before then. And then
I met Danny in October.
Okay. Yeah. And then you were a massage therapist also. And then it just so happened the person you worked for as a massage therapist bought out the person I worked for as a massage therapist. So then we worked together as a massage therapist for a long time. And then we've just been friends. And then I went to chiropractic school and she started chiropractic school. So we've kind of evolved our friendship. And now you live really close to me too.
Yeah.
We don't see each other enough. You live like a mile and a half away. Oh, probably more like 2 miles, but still we should see each other more.
Right.
But anyway, so if you had a couple of, sentences of advice to give maybe a young entrepreneur or a young chiropractic student, what would they be?
I would say work on your mindset. That's huge. And somebody may not even know what that means. And like a year or two ago, I knew I needed to work on my mindset, but I didn't even know what to do with that. And so I just searched in a podcast like mindset and started listening to podcasts on that. And then that has evolved. But I would say work on your mindset, take messy action, don't attach meanings to outcomes. So if something doesn't work out the way that you anticipate, the way that you want, doesn't mean that you're a bad person or that you necessarily quote failed or whatnot. It may just not have been the right thing. And then learning from mistakes and getting up and going again, I think would be the biggest.
Very good.
Yeah.
Yep. It's all very important. So, all right. Well, Dr. Charlie, thank you so much for being on the podcast. It's been a pleasure to see you via Zoom since I haven't seen you in a while and chat with you and learn a little bit about what you're doing. So what's the best way for somebody to get a hold of you? So maybe somebody's listening to this who, like I said, has RA or has some sort of autoimmune that they think maybe you could help them with. What is the best way to get in contact with you?
They can call the office, Reversity Chiropractic, rcclawrence.com. rcclawrence.com is my website. I'm also on Instagram, Reversity Chiropractic, and you can also just search Charlie Herman DC, I think. Facebook, any of those. And if somebody is interested in the Facebook group, it's Holistic Self-Care Club.
Okay, perfect. And we'll make sure to include all of that in our show notes and links to all of those after we post this interview. So you can get on and you can find Dr. Charlie and talk with her. Well, to say what you said, Charlie, to end this, I'm going to say, I usually say be courageous, but I'm going to say, what was it?
Courageously
take messy action.
Yes.
Okay. So until next time, everybody, courageously take messy action. Thank you.
Again, we want to thank you for joining us today, and we want to encourage you to join our Facebook group. We want to connect with you, we want to hear from you, and we really want to get an understanding of what's happening in your lives. Our Facebook group is Transforming Self with Doctors Jeremy and Amelia Rodrock, and we're going to make sure and post that link in our show notes. Take care.
Bye.